Scout came off the list. That's exactly what I've been waiting on. What's going on, guys? It's Greg Froelich from The Wise Guys, aka Pegasus. Want to say appreciate you for the 1,000 subscribers. We are there. Make sure you check out the free roll tournament. It's on our Facebook page, The Wise Guys. Make sure you go check that out. But without further ado, we're here to talk about Qli. Qli. You saw what happened with the ban list. You know that Scout came back to 3. So now we have to have a little conversation about what the hell are we supposed to do with the deck. Are we supposed to take it back to the days of towers? Are we supposed to play card of demise? Are we supposed to go second? I mean, is that what we're supposed to do? Are we supposed to go second and just run somebody over? Are we supposed to mash it up with the other pendulum stuff? Are we supposed to play floodgates? Who knows, man? Without further ado, let's jump into exactly how to play the deck, break it down, figure it out, because it's going to be the front of the rogue decks. Let's get into it. All right, guys. We're in the lab, man. We got to talk. We got to talk a little bit. So with the Qli deck, man, what it boils down to is we all got super duper excited with Qliphort Scout coming back to 3. And I mean, why not? The last time it was relevant, it was a top 4 meta deck. So when you think it's going to come back to full power, you can at least get a little bit excited. But then you have to break down how you're going to build the deck. Skill drain is at 1, so you can't quite get it back to full power. And then, of course, you have to mask the weaknesses of towers now. And weakness of towers, that sounds crazy for me to say, but towers just isn't what it was. With links, with Master Rule 4 being a thing now, Qlis can't swarm the field like they used to, and they also can be affected by almost anything, and when I say anything, I mean anything in the extra deck. From Nightmare Cerberus all the way down to Boral Sword, Boral Dragon, they definitely impact the way that the card is seen now. Towers has pretty much fallen off. It is what it is. Now, if you can build the deck with the understanding that that's a thing, then you work from there. I think Storm is still a very powerful card, and I haven't seen anybody else anywhere on YouTube really talk about Storm and how you can still scout, search, sacrifice, and then storm people's back row away. And then at the very minimum, basically paying 800 to Twin Twister somebody, that's pretty strong. Now, I'm not going to say you shouldn't play any kind of hand traps, but I feel like the deck needs to get going as fast as possible. I think you should maybe think about playing Ash or Impermanence. But other than that, I think you have to still get to the point the same way. There's cards like Lose One Turn. As you see me, I've already highlighted it. You got cards like Lose One Turn for the stun version of the deck. But I think if you're going to build a deck, the best option right now is either Storm going second or playing cards like the Monarch Storm 4th. However, that creates an issue. If you play Monarch Storm 4th, let's say you go second and you play Monarch Storm 4th. So let's say we put this in and we took out any one of these random Qlis. It doesn't really matter. You could take out one of the shells. You're not going to be able to tribute everything. Whatever you take out, if you put in Monarch Storm 4th, and play a go second version and try to storm force someone and then tribute for disc and then try to kill your opponent, it's just not going to work as well as a deck like True Draco is going to work in punching through someone's board. Granted, we have stuff like Helix and we have stuff like Carrier, but those things have just been outclassed with the True Draco engine. So when you do that, you have to think about, okay, the aggro part of the deck and trying to stun your opponent by putting really big monsters on the board, it just doesn't work as well as some of the other decks. And then we got other stuff like Gen Raids coming. It's just not going to work as well as what True Draco does. So you have to put that out of your mind. Then you have to think, if I do play back row, cards like Demise have to come into question. So you got cards like Demise you got to think about, how is that going to impact the game? Is that going to impact the way the deck is built? There's an issue. That's just the issue with Qli, is it just doesn't have the same powerful punch into it because there's no 3 skill drains. You can mask that with 3 loser turns, and there's no ability to really drop towers and have it be as effective or dominating as it once was. There's also the Metal Foes stuff. You can work out something with Summoner's Art being a card and work in the deck some kind of way, but I really feel like you're better off playing Metal Foes. So all in all, I think this deck falls somewhere around the middle of tier 2 to the back of tier 2, although we all got really excited when you really break it down and jump into the lab, you have to be honest with yourself and realize this deck is going to fall somewhere in there. Doesn't mean that once these monsters drop that they're not as powerful as they once were, i.e. a spell speed 4 boss monster and stealth. I'm worried about stealth and disc if I'm playing against Qli, not so much anything else. Again, that's Greg Farley's breakdown, aka Pegasus, and his breakdown. Yes, I'm referring to me in the third person. Make sure you stay tuned to our page. I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. And as always, YG baby.